From time to time, I get to have many people from overseas, particularly people that are called diasporans, Africans who are staying in Europe, and they reach out to me and say to me, TJ, can we buy properties in South Africa? But basically the question that they normally ask is, what is the process of buying property as a foreign investor in South Africa? I want to say to you, my good friends, if you're still asking yourself this question, you are too late already. Because as an example, most of our coastal land has already been bought with many foreign investors. Our local banks are already geared up for people that are wanting to buy real estate here in South Africa. So today I apologize if you're in South Africa and you are watching this and you're like, TJ, but why are we talking about foreigners buying properties in South Africa? Well, my good friends, we still need them. We do need the investment from wherever it is coming from. That is why the government is always out there to look for foreign investments. So foreign investments doesn't really just come with the billions, right? It can also come in small bits of properties. If we are meeting for the first time, my name is TJ, your host, and I'm a former banker and founder here at the TJ Tribe. And I do business with a focus in student accommodation, flips, which is buy and sell, and coaching, with the hope that all of us, as young, upcoming modern parents, we can be able to have passive income from real estate. Welcome to the channel. Now, so I'm going to give you guys maybe you might have somebody who's overseas already, right? And they're trying to figure out how to buy real estate in South Africa. So this video here, I'm going to tell you this, but I'm also going to dive into another video that I did with my good friend, Dr. Wilbert. Actually, let's dive into that video and then I'll come back and then summarize this. So don't go away.
Boom, boom. Yes, what a day or what a moment to have you. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Wilbert Mutoko, and I'm so privileged today to bring you TJ. Taurai Jack is in the house. TJ, how are you?
I'm alright, how are you?
Beautiful, it's so nice having you, and we are having a fantastic conversation on property investment. Maybe you are there, you are an executive around Africa or around the world, and you are thinking of investing in property in South Africa. You want to know how it works. Maybe you are an entrepreneur, or probably you are a professional, or even an aspiring investor, whether you are a student or I don't know what you do, but that's the conversation we are going to have so that we can assist you to understand how does it work for you to invest in property in South Africa. TJ, you're most welcome. All right, so can foreigners buy land in South Africa? Can they buy properties in South Africa? Both those that are living here and those that are living abroad, because I know many people, some might be here and one day they will move out and they don't know what to do with their properties. Some are in the diaspora and they want to invest here. Foreigners or expatriates, welcome to purchase land here.
I think, again, it's one of those myths that people think that this can't be done or it's complicated. I think people just don't read carefully. There's nothing that is not written out to say you can do it this way. We're just a bit lazy in terms of getting it to understand it. I've been a foreigner in South Africa, and I want to speak to a foreigner who stays in South Africa. Then we jump on to the next foreigner who's not resident here. The South African foreigner, depending on your paperwork, you may have a permanent residence, you may have a work permit, whatever permit that you have, it allows you to go and buy property. Many people do that.
Right.
Having said that, not all the banks may be favorable to you, maybe because of your circumstance, and many of us, we want to label, because I'm a foreigner. No. Try to understand each bank, when they are liaising with you, there is a banker, and that individual will tell you why that application has been declined. Right. If it's about your paperwork, they'll tell you, this is the reason about your paperwork. Or maybe it's not about your paperwork, it's actually about your financial affairs.
All right.
Right? So let's separate the two. But from the get-go, for as long as you've got a permit of sort, you're allowed in South Africa to buy real estate, whether it's a piece of land, whether it is a block of flat, whatever it is, you're allowed to. There's many African foreigners, European foreigners. Actually, to tell you something, there's a law that came in the early 2000s. And this law, basically, they introduced it to say foreigners who are not domiciling in South Africa, meaning that they don't stay in South Africa, they now need to put in 50% deposit when they are buying.
Right.
That reason came in because a whole lot of properties in the coastal land of the Cape Town, and I'm just talking about Western Cape as a whole, was being owned by foreign nationals. So then they said, okay, fine, how do we protect our real estate? So let's give him 50%. So it's kind of like just giving them a hindrance, but if you look at the pound power or the dollar power, they can still afford to come and buy in South Africa. So number one, a foreigner who is staying in South Africa, you got your papers correctly, you can go and buy real estate. Robert Kiyosaki says there is a couple of ways of becoming a millionaire, and the first one that he always says is, if you want to become a millionaire, just go and marry a millionaire. Right? So if you don't have papers, just go and marry someone who's got papers.
Who has papers?
Right. And then you will buy your real estate thereafter. Now, from there, let's also speak about the foreigner who does not stay in the country. How best can they buy real estate? They can. The short answer is you can.
Okay.
Can you buy cash? 100%. There's no restrictions of any nature. Again, if you do have your trust, you've got your company, which I advocate for. And the reason why I advocate for that is that let's assume you bring in, let's say, 10 million rand into the country for real estate. You're coming from Botswana or wherever you're coming from. And you buy this real estate. I am of the view that as someone who is coming from Botswana, you probably don't want to leave Botswana. You're doing this for investments in a different country.
Right.
So if you're to do this in your company, you can then employ the local South African to be your managing director, and they can work and manage these properties for you. You can employ professional property managers in your company, and everything is very clear. They are working for company ABC. There's this 10 million that has been invested by the biggest shareholder, and it's clear. You're running your business in a very clean manner. But what about if you don't have this 10 million? You only have 1 million and you are reliant on the bank. Well, the current rules stipulates that if you're to come into the country as a foreigner, the bank will only give you up to 50%.
Okay.
So which basically means that you now need to have the other 50% in cash. You're buying a 2 million rand property for investment purposes in this company. You need to have your 1 million cash, and the bank will be happy to give you another million.
Okay.
Now, are there different ways of working around that problem? There's plenty of them.
Right.
I mean, the first one that we just spoke about in a very joking manner is, if you want to become a millionaire, just marry a millionaire. You can go into partnerships with local guys. There's many guys who would be interested in doing that. And all of a sudden now you are jumping from 50% to 100%. And depending on how you're going to put this together as a business structure, that's neither here nor there. It's a willing investor, willing partner conversation. So it's not a hindrance. That's what the law says, but there's many ways of dealing with it. Welcome back, my good friends. You heard there, I was speaking to Doctor. And we're just explaining how things work for a foreigner. It's practical to do that in South Africa, to invest, as you can see. But let me just I want to touch on a few things. The first one I want to speak to is that it's important to determine your finances. So I'm talking to you whether you are in the UK, New Zealand, I don't know, whatever country that you are in, and you're thinking of investing in South Africa. A lot of Americans, black Americans who are in the States, they don't call them black Americans, they call them African American, right? Yeah. But didn't There was a celebrity who came here recently. He says he's not an African American. He said he's a boxer, I think. He said he's just American. Okay. Anyway, that's politics, right? How we define ourselves, it's based on who we are. But who am I to change what they might have said? But let's go on talk about what we know best. The first one is that we need to determine our finances. So wherever you're sitting, in whatever currency that you are in. Recently, I got an offer to purchase that we're selling a flip, and we got an offer to purchase from someone in Australia. They've been here to South Africa before, and they want to retire here from Australia. So there you are. There is people, that are very fond of our own country. And some people you might be like saying, teacher, why would they come to South Africa? Me, I already want to live here. It's a beautiful country. We stay in a beautiful country. It's an amazing. We've got our problems, yes, but hey, there's no country without problems. There's no household without problems. Let's go on. So we spoke about determining your finances as the person who is buying. You might be buying this for investment purposes, or you might be buying it for retirement purposes, whatever. I know a lot of people that buying the coastal, they do that for their retirement or holiday homes. So again, determine how much you are wanting to spend. Some South African banks here, not all the banks, but some, we offer what we call a bond. A bond for you could be a mortgage. And we do have what we call non-resident bonds. So non-resident mortgage, right, for you. And these often come with a heavy requirement of sometimes up to 50%. So you're buying for our local 5 million rand, you need to be paying 2.5 million. But here, your 2.5 million could be divided by 20 in your currency, right? Especially if you're coming from the pound space. Now, here's the second thing. The second thing is identifying and inspecting properties. Obviously, you're overseas. Here at the TJ Tribe, we've got what we call Wednesday Deal Day, and where you can work very closely with some of our sourcing agents, and they go out there, they look for the properties. You utilize them to an extent as if you're almost at the property. There's lots of stuff that we do behind the scene to showcase to you that property. So yes, identifying and obviously knowing what you're buying into, knowing the area that you're buying is important. But we always say to people, hey, maybe consider coming through to South Africa and view whilst you're on holiday, get a sense of the neighborhood. Many of my foreign friends, we have done that. We've had the show and tells. You come down here, we do that. And we showcase the properties or the areas. And when the good deal comes by, at least you've got an understanding of the area. Now, engaging with local professionals, there is, in real estate, the big thing is having a team of people who can obviously be able to help you along the way. We are talking about from attorneys to constructors and all the works, right? So having a local professional team helps, or having a go-to guy like me who knows or who's doing this every day, it also helps because now you've got eyes on the ground, you've got feet on the ground, you've got hands on the ground, or someone else who is a professional and someone else who's doing that. Now, obviously offering a contract, we need to understand the contracts. Contracts come in all forms and shapes. So understanding the contract is very good. In South Africa, because our laws are very similar to the Englishes and so on, so it's very easy to understand. Most of our contracts are in English, so you can spend time. There's around about maybe 13 key paragraphs when you're making an offer, and you can read those, and it's very self-explanatory. But obviously we do have some acts that might not apply to where you're coming from. You can utilize the internet to familiarize yourself with that, or better not, you can always reach out to and I can be able to explain all of those things. Now, the first thing that I want to speak to here is that sometimes the exchange control and the tax compliance thereof is also important, because remember, yes, we are doing this for investment purposes. So when your money is coming into the country, there's also an exchange control, there's regulations around that. And obviously now as a foreign based, there's also some tax compliance that you need to be doing there. Over and above that, now that we understand that the exchange control, your money is now in the country, So typically what is required is anything from 20% all the way to 50%, right? That might be required as a deposit. Why am I saying that? I am saying that because you might be saying, but you're contradicting yourself here. You say deposit is, the banks will give you up to 50%. Yes, so up to 50%. So let's assume that you're buying cash, right? So they might just want to say the estate agent together with the seller. They may say to you, "Hey, we are looking for a deposit," and in general, the deposit is between 10% all the way to 50%. 50% now is assuming that you are going with the bond on a later stage. But if you're not, 10% will be good, and if you craft your deal nicely, there may not be even a requirement of a deposit. Obviously, if your money is being put in a trust and it's all coming down, obviously the next attorney will be able to see that. The next process is obviously transfer process. And here in South Africa, we normally do 2 transferring attorneys if there's a bond involved. But if there's no bond involved, it's just basically one conveyancer, transferring attorney, conveyancer, same person. And they will do the transfer for you. They will do the exchange of the property, name change as we call it, from the seller to the buyer's names, and there's paperwork to be drawn. And you might need to go to our local embassy there where you are to get the documentation notarized and all of those nice things. And that's how you then be able to send everything here with some form of registered mail, DHL, that kind of thing. And my good friends, you are in business at that time. And obviously the final process is the final payments and the registration. Our registration here normally takes from seller to buyer, normally takes anything between round about a week. When the paperwork is done, round about a week to about 3 weeks. Then our deeds office will do that name change. Your conveyancer will tell you, and then bingo, my friends, you are in money. So wherever you are sitting, I want to say to you, you can buy real estate in South Africa. There is ways of how to do it, and make sure that you're just working with a trusted individual who knows how to move this terrain. If all fails and you're not so sure, reach out to us here at the TJ Tribe, and we will be able to help you out. How you can reach out to us is on our website. You can jump on the www.thetjtribe.com, and there's a section there where you can click on to say to book a slot, and we can book a 20-minute slot, and you can tell me where you need some help, and I could be able to help you navigate the terrain. So until we see each other again, my good friends, I hope that this video has been helpful, especially for all of you guys who are overseas and you're grinding and you're wanting to do some real estate in South Africa. This is for the non-South African. This video is a non-South African video for somebody who's wanting to invest in South Africa. You might be somebody from Swaziland, from Lesotho, Mozambique, Angola. My friends from Angola, they're always reaching out to me. From Zimbabwe. From where? Those are some of our immediate neighboring countries, right? In Nigeria, I've had quite a lot of people that reach out to me from Nigeria. And obviously in Europe, mostly in Canada, the United States, and the UK, right? And you are born, you don't have a resident here, you don't have a work permit yet, and you're asking the question, how can you buy real estate? And bingo, my good friends, I've given you the process. You can reach out to us, we can be able to help. Is there a fee in doing that? Nope, not at all. No fees at all. We're just giving you the direction in terms of how you can navigate the terrain, helping the community at large at a global level of how you can earn passive income right here in South Africa. Yeah. So until we meet each other again on the next video, it is your boy TJ. Boom. Happy investing.